No game does Easter eggs like Assassin's Creed, and some of them are actually insane, and Ubisoft almost always comes out on top. Whether it's a subtle tribute to Optimus Prime in Assassin's Creed 1 or a full-blown questline inspired by Final Fantasy in Origins. These guys just never miss the opportunity. But with so many of them scattered across the series, it's easy for some gems to slip through the cracks. But luckily, you don't have to dig through every game yourself. We'll be doing that for you instead, picking the best Easter egg from every Assassin's Creed. And before we begin, as always, opinions may vary, so if you don't agree, feel free to let it all out in the comments. Although being the pioneer of this long-standing series, it didn't do much, but it definitely created a template for others to follow. And when it comes to Easter eggs, it's no different. The ones here are most simple, more subtle, but still surprisingly interesting. At the beginning of AC1, when the Templars invade Masyaf, everyone including Al-Mualim blames my boy Altair. But what if I told you he didn't take the fall alone? Sure, no doubt his actions led the Templars right to their doorstep. But how did they get in so fast? That's because of an assassin named Jamal. If you visit the outskirts of Masyaf and turn on Eagle Vision, you'll spot one assassin highlighted in red. That's Jamal, ladies and gentlemen. Some say there was originally going to be a full level dedicated to assassinating him, but it ended up getting cut. And for those of you curious, you can silently assassinate him without any conflict. But if you openly engage him in combat, other assassins will actually turn on you as well. It's a pretty obscure Easter egg and honestly the only major one besides the Transformers reference we mentioned earlier. And hopefully the rumored AC1 remake codenamed Stardust brings it back. Oh, this one's pretty heartbreaking. We all know how Ezio suffered and how his family was taken from him. But before all of that, he was living the happiest life. No worries and no responsibilities. Just a carefree stroll through the Plaza Auditoria surrounded by the people he loved. And that's what makes returning there later feel so different. Once the family is gone, with some dead and others forced away, the same place becomes haunted. And no wonder Ezio missed them. But what if I told you, you can actually see Ezio missing them, literally seeing their ghosts? Yup, you heard that right. During the Bonfire of the Vanities DLC, when Ezio returns to Florence, you can visit his old home. All you have to do is turn on Eagle Vision and you'll see his entire family again, but in a ghostly form. And the most heartbreaking part, they appear exactly as they did when Ezio was young, meaning he remembers every detail, every position, every presence, and every moment. It's a subtle but powerful way of showing that he's still grieving, because once destiny called him, he never really stopped moving and never really stopped fighting. Okay, enough emotional talk, let's change the tone a bit. Brotherhood went a little too far with meta references to other video game characters, to the point where there were literal skins of them. And I guess Ubisoft really liked Kojima because the game had now one but two references to the franchise. The first one is somewhat hidden, but not too hard to get if you complete almost everything in the game. Brotherhood offers in-game challenges for stealth, parkour, and combat. Once you complete all of them and earn at least bronze in each category, you unlock an outfit for Ezio called Raiden. Yes, Raiden from the Metal Gear Solid series. And a fun fact, he was also trained through virtual training simulations, which makes the reference even more fitting. Although if you ask me, the outfit looks pretty out of place. But the second reference? That one's impossible to miss. In the mission where we reunite with Leonardo after a long time, you find him hiding inside a cardboard box. And doesn't that box look a little too familiar? Exactly. Another nod to Metal Gear, where the cardboard box is famously used by multiple protagonists as a stealth tactic. Maybe Ubisoft liked the Assassin's Creed reference in Metal Gear so much that they decided to pay it back twice in Brotherhood. Fan service is usually a subtle way for developers to attract more players and make the fans happy, often through cameo appearances or nods to other characters. But in Ezio's case, Ubisoft went the complete opposite. During the mission where he and the other Ottoman assassins are keeping an eye on the prince to protect him, Ezio dresses up as one of the most annoying NPCs in Assassin's Creed history, and to blend in, he sings.
While traveling through Forlì, I took her at her leisure. She said it's strictly business.
Yes, he literally sings the stories of his past adventures, including events from AC Brotherhood and AC2. The way he mimics those NPCs and tries to blend in is honestly hilarious. But beyond the laughs, it's also a brilliant form of storytelling. Every action he took in history is cleverly disguised, so well in fact that you can almost believe it really was him behind those events. And it makes me wonder, peak Ubisoft was something else entirely. If you think the wildest Easter eggs end here, think again, my guy. With every game they only get wilder, and Assassin's Creed 3 is no exception. The game introduced new mechanics like taking cover, whistling, and using bait, and Ubisoft decided to have some fun testing them in the form of an Easter egg. Because if you think Connor was the only assassin roaming around with Achilles, think again. Head to Homestead, make your way to the manor, and take cover on any side. Then whistle 3 or 4 times and behold, Connor's most precious asset, the assassin turkey. Yes, you heard that right. It'll just wander near you absolutely doing nothing until you give it bait, combined with a very specific action. Then mysteriously it reveals its true self, with hood and all. An assassin hiding in plain sight. From that moment on, it follows you. Maybe it's safe to say that this little turkey was one of the reasons Connor came out on top. So he wasn't that alone after all. Black Flag was a boon to the series, setting the stage for the modern Assassin's Creed games we know today. And when it comes to Easter eggs, many would point to the white whale versus giant squid encounter. But for true AC fans, this one deserves a spot on the list. In the modern day sections where you explore Abstergo and even reach the CEO's office, you uncover a lot. His computer holds hints to future AC games as well as some cut content that never made it. But that's not all. Take a closer look around the office and you will spot several preserved weapons. Get even closer and you will realize that these are the very same weapons we wielded in the original Assassin's Creed. And there's even a nod to another Ubisoft title, Red Steel, tucked in there as well. It's one of those obscure Easter eggs that might not seem exciting at first, but it really adds to the ambiance. There's something eerie about seeing just how much the Templars are in control right now. Now, Rogue was pretty short when it came to its story, but that doesn't mean it wasn't fun. Compared to the previous titles, it had less content, and yes, that includes Easter eggs. But for this one, I had no choice. You probably already guessed it, the Headless Horseman. If you visit Sleepy Hollow at night, head to the backside of the church and wait a bit, you will encounter a strange NPC, headless, heavily built, and basically invincible. You literally cannot take him down with conventional weapons. The rope dart is your only option, but honestly, when he's chasing you like that, who even thinks of it? Luckily for you, there's a trick. Near him, you will notice a grave with a pumpkin. Shoot it and boom, instant takedown. That's it. Interestingly, this is a continuation of the same Easter egg from Assassin's Creed 3, but whether it's the same horseman or just a variant is never explained, and honestly, we'll probably never know. Ooh, this one's scary. In Assassin's Creed Unity, Paris was incredibly crowded, alive, and packed with collectibles that seemed never-ending, but it also had its creepy corner. If you head to the Tuileries Garden through the entrance along the coastline, you will stumble upon something truly disturbing. A freaking cannibal. In the tunnel where you can also find a cockade, keep going and you will spot dead bodies covered in rags, a bloodied stretcher, and a pile of more corpses. Push further inside and you will find a man chopping up human meat over a pot, with the more people trapped nearby indicating that he's not stopping anytime soon. It's a bone-chilling Easter egg, especially if you're playing at night, and the kind that sticks with you. The kind that makes you wonder what else might be lurking in the shadows of Paris. And is also my favorite one in the game. To be honest, I never really thought much of Syndicate because it's often seen as a forgettable entry, but you have to give it credit for being bold with its approach. And despite the mixed reception, it delivered a beautiful tribute to one of the franchise's most beloved protagonists. During the mission where Evie and Henry visit the Kenway mansion in search of clues about the Shroud of Eden, you will notice several mementos from past adventures, mainly from AC4. A miniature version of the Jackdaw, a Caribbean map, and even a pair of swords. But the most heartbreaking part comes when you interact with the piano using a specific set of notes to open a hidden passage. These notes are actually a reference to Shanty Lowlands, which in this context feels like a distant echo from the past.
I dreamed my love came in my sleep. Lowlands, lowlands away.
Step inside and you will find the Jackdaw's wheel adding salt to the wound and turning this into one of the most emotional and easily the best Easter egg in the game. Origins added a massive amount of content, but this is easily one of my favorite Easter eggs and honestly one of the best side quests too. Here's how it plays out. In the region of Giza, you will come across 3 robbers desperately searching for a ring. And if you still didn't catch it, just wait till you hear the quest name. Precious Bonds. Does that ring any bells? It was a clear reference to Gollum and the Lord of the Rings. where the character obsessively calls the One Ring precious because of its corrupting nature. But it doesn't stop there. Throughout the entire quest, you keep chasing the ring from one place to another, just like the One Ring from the movies. And when you finally get it, instead of handing it over to any of the robbers, Bayek throws it into the wind, and the camera deliberately focuses on it as it flies upward. That might seem like just a cinematic choice, but it's another reference, this time to the Lord of the Rings The Fellowship of the Ring movie, where a similar moment happens with Frodo. And the fact that this quest even has dedicated motion capture cutscenes makes it feel even more intentional, solidifying it as one of the most clearest Easter eggs in Origins. This one's hilarious, and you'll probably enjoy it more than the rest. AC Odyssey is massive, packed with hundreds of nods and references to different pieces of media, but this one comes straight from the Atlantis DLC. After entering the city of Atlantis, we get a glimpse into the ways of the Isu and how they operated. Some of it gets pretty dark, but we will save that for another time. Today, we're focusing on Project Olympic. Yup, you heard that right. At a specific location on the map, you will find an area filled with chickens, and right in the center, their leader. And yes, you actually fight him in the boss battle. Seriously, I'm not joking. Defeat him and you will receive a golden egg worth a whooping 550,000 drachmi, roughly translating to about $27.3 million. It's hilarious, it's rewarding, and it also subtly implies that the Isu were not just experimenting on humans, but animals too. Most importantly, chickens. Which honestly explains why the chickens in this game can absolutely destroy you. Maybe they're his descendants. People criticize Valhalla for its massive size and branching storyline, but credit where it's due, if you play till the end, it adds a lot to the pre-existing lore. And it also pays homage to Assassin's Creed 1. How? Let's take a look. As you know, the game is divided into multiple arcs, and the Jorvik arc is no different on the surface. It's set entirely within the city of Jorvik, smaller, more contained, but that's exactly the point. Once you play it, you will start noticing the parallels. The arc revolves around eliminating 3 Order members who are poisoning the city, a setup that feels very reminiscent of AC1. And the similarities don't stop there. The assassinations themselves are deliberate callbacks. One target is killed in a hospital, just like the Mad Doctor in Acre, and another uses a decoy similar to Robert's trick in the final act of AC1, but that's not all again. In the same region, you also unlock the full Mentor set, a clear reference to Ezio Auditore's outfit from Revelation. All in all, this arc and the area surrounding it is easily one of the finest parts of Valhalla. Sadly, it doesn't get nearly as much attention as it deserves. Mirage was a breath of fresh air for veteran fans, stripping back the massive RPG mechanics and taking us right back to our roots in the dense streets of Baghdad. And just like the older games, it brought back the intimate feeling, including the Easter eggs. We've already talked about an assassin turkey and Isu chickens, but Ubisoft wasn't done with the animals just yet. While wandering the bustling streets of Baghdad, you will come across plenty of stray cats you can pet, which is always a nice touch. But take a closer look at their faces. You will notice a few of them have a specific dark fur pattern right across their snout, one that perfectly matches the assassin insignia. Yup, assassin cats hiding in plain sight. The story behind this isn't just a quirky visual joke though, but it's incredibly wholesome, and a little heartbreaking too. These cats were added as a direct tribute to a fan's real-life pet who sadly passed away just before Mirage's release. Ubisoft caught wind of the story and decided to immortalize their little friend forever within the Brotherhood. It's small, subtle, but it's easily the most touching Easter egg in the game. And finally, we arrive at the newest addition to the franchise, Assassin's Creed Shadows. Stepping into feudal Japan is something fans have been begging for since, well, forever. And while the game brings a lot of new mechanics, stunning visuals, and dual protagonists to the table, it still makes time for a good old-fashioned joke. Sometimes the best Easter eggs aren't hidden behind a secret wall or an emotional questline. Sometimes they're sitting right there in your trophy list. During your time exploring the map, you will naturally be using your bow to take down enemies from afar. But if you happen to aim a little low, specifically at an enemy's knee, you will unlock a very specific achievement called Adventurer. Does that ring a bell? It definitely should. It's a direct nod to one of the most legendary memes in gaming history, The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. And you probably heard the line, "I used to be an adventurer like you, then I took an arrow in the knee." It's been well over a decade since that line took over the internet, and honestly seeing Ubisoft bring it back to feudal Japan of all places is just hilarious. I guess even the samurai and shinobi are not safe from early 2010s gaming culture. And that brings us to the end. Which Easter egg was your favorite out of these? Let us know in the comments, and if you disagree, then again, do the same, let us know that too. We'll see you next time, till then take care, and goodbye.